Well, for more on Turkey's economy, I'm joined now by our Global Economics Analyst, Saruhan Hatipoglu. Always good to have you in.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
So there's been a lot of tension, of course, in this relationship between the U.S. and Turkey. Let's start with, the context is that is really over how to defeat ISIL. There's also the recent arrest of this Turkish banking executive, furthering frustrations. How does all of that provide a backdrop for what's happening economically between the two countries?
Yes, the hope that the Turkish government had with President Trump coming into office was that this relationship would really strengthen, because President Obama had an approach that really favored the People's Protection Unit, the Kurdish fighters as Syrian defense forces. And they were very careful about the Turkish cleric in terms of what he needs to go through to be extradited to Turkey. So the government in Turkey thought President Trump is going to change those. And we're seeing that that's actually not taking place. The U.S. is keeping pretty much a more aggressive attitude in Syria and still working with this specific Kurdish group, which Turkey looks at as a terror organization. So yeah, that is going to have an impact on the economy, but I think the economy is also dependent on what we're going to be seeing a week, 2 weeks from now on with the referendum result, because we're watching that pretty carefully.
Yeah, talk about the importance of that, what could happen, because changing the system of government has a lot of impact on the economy as well. How will investors read the results?
It does. The investors that I'm talking to, very clients, they're very nervous about it because, first of all, the country is divided halfway, neck and neck. This is 50-50.
Is this Brexit-like?
Brexit type of thing,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. So what is happening, though, President Erdogan and his party are showing the no-sayers or no supporters for the constitutional referendum as siding with the coup plotters. So we're not seeing a lot of campaigning on the no side.
However, so they're making this about the coup as the litmus test, not about whether you want to change the system of government.
So Turkey's polarized about this right now. And we're seeing the EU problems as well, which also tends to stoke nationalist sentiment in the country. But there's one party, Turkish Movement Party, whose head supported the AK Party in the parliament about the constitutional changes, but the base of the party is not liking it. So if they go vote, if the turnout is high, this could be a no at the end of the day.
And investors say what about that?
Investors are actually waiting. If there is a no, there's a period of instability too, because AK Party's position is going to be in jeopardy. Now, AK Party, whether you agree with the party or not, brought some level of stability for business investment that is coming into Turkey. If the vote is yes, in the short term, there's going to be business stability.
Yes to the change of government.
Yes to the change of the government.
Short-term instability.
Correct. It'll bring short-term stability, actually, because businesses are looking at it and say, you know what, this guy has been here for more than a decade. His party is controlling now. That's okay. In terms of democracy itself, though, this will be a bad vote if we see yes.
So maybe some long-term disadvantages for investors in that respect. Talk about tourism, because we just talked about those numbers, a lot of losses on the tourism industry front. It is a difficult thing to attract people to a country when you're going through all of this turmoil. What do you think the general outlook is going forward, and does that also depend on the referendum?
Well, it does to a certain extent, but tourism was shaken in Turkey way before the coup attempt, way before this constitutional issue came about. It was a period of true instability in the country, where bombs were exploding in major cities in Turkey before the 2015 election. It was a security issue, and let's remember the relations with Russia were rock bottom at that time, and Turkey benefited a lot from Russian tourism. So yeah, it hasn't got a chance to rebound yet, but there's hope there, because the lira also, you mentioned it earlier, is really low. And depending on what the referendum outcome is, lira could see 4 lira to the dollar, which is actually something that would push tourism up as well as support exports.
And would it be regional tourism as opposed to, people coming from great distances in that case?
Usual suspects. You will have your EU countries coming in. You'll have Russians coming in. For that currency level, definitely tourism is going to improve. Of course, political stability is an issue. If bombs start exploding again, they don't care how weak the lira is.
Last question, Turkey's GDP expected out tomorrow. What are your expectations for that?
My expectation is that it's not going to be as bad as third quarter, because Turkey also, not many people mention this, but Turkey changed the way it calculates its GDP. What they're doing now is they're using 2009 as a base year, not 1998, so that kind of amplified the numbers in the third quarter. The numbers are not that good. I don't think it's going to be as bad as third quarter, but it's not going to be encouraging. What we need to be looking at is first quarter numbers, because consumer confidence in March has increased dramatically, which is surprising. Yeah. Retail sales have done pretty badly, but they're coming back very slowly. So first quarter is important, and government spending is always there. It was 23% in the third quarter, and despite the 1.8% contraction. Yeah. So that is going to continue in the short term as well.
All right. Saruhan Hatipoglu, always good to have you in.
Great to be here.
The security, the economic picture, all of it wrapped into one. Our thanks to you.